Northwest Nigeria. The Northwest Nigeria is one of the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, representing both geographic and political region of the country's northwest. It comprises 7 states, that is Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara.
Cross over to the northwest, where we have Operation Hadirin Daji. Troops of Operation Hadirin Daji recorded the following during the period under review. They conducted offensive operations to Birnin-Gwari, to Chikum, and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. The troops also conducted similar operations to Kankara and Batsari local government areas of Katsina State. Additionally, the troops conducted operations in Gusau local government area of Zamfara State.
The Nigerian Army, an embodiment of valor and patriotism.
As soldiers of the Nigerian Army, we stand united.
Two military operations were being conducted in the zone: the Joint Task Force Operation Hadirin Daji and Joint Task Force Operation Y Punch. The Northwest region, Nigeria's geopolitical zones at the edge of the Sahel, is the epicenter of the renewed security crisis driven by armed groups, often described as bandits.
Ideally, we have overviewed the entire operation and realized that we need to harmonize our operations together. If you notice, we have Operation Hadirin Daji and Operation White Stroke, both within the Northwest region. We have seen the need for us to harmonize those operations into one operation like we did in the Northeast, where we have Operation Hadirin. The same thing is being done now for the Northwest operation. We have one unified operation. It's going to be called Operation FANSAN YAMMA. FANSAN YAMMA, for those of us that know, it's securing the West.
In the Northwest and Central regions, the primary drivers of insecurity are not just kidnapping and banditry, but also the illegal mining of natural resources. The ongoing instability is perpetuated by those benefiting from the mining economy, which thrives on chaos. Banditry in the Northwest and Central regions began with minor thefts of livestock before escalating to widespread kidnapping. The network heavily relies on motorcycles for mobility, enabling swift and often unnoticed movement across vast forested areas. They have returned the forest into marketplaces where kidnapped foreigners or high-profile individuals are sold to the highest bidder, eventually reaching figures like below Torji for final negotiations. Besides kidnapping, bandits engage in cattle theft and attack towns, with some even demanding motorcycles as part of the ransom, as seen in the recent case, who was killed by bandits after failing to pay the ransom within their deadline. Corruption within the mining industry aids banditry, with some miners acting as informants and collaborators. Reports indicate that not all miners are involved, but a significant number are on the bandit payroll. Collaboration with locals and paying off boundaries ensure smooth mining operations in their forests, as research has shown. To effectively combat banditry, the military alone cannot bring an end to this crisis. What worked in Borno must be replicated in each state where bandits operate if we genuinely want to end the scourge. The federal government's directive for the relocation of Minister of State for Defense along with other military chiefs to Sokoto access due to security challenges show deep concern about the persistent threat posed by banditry and terrorism in the Northwest states, and to ensure that Bello Turji and his bandit gang are flushed out.
And the issue of Turji, like I said, is just a deranged individual that feels power, but I can bet you that it's just a matter of time. A matter of time, we're going to get this, and I can assure you, within the shortest possible time, we're going to address that issue on the Northwest. It's been their tradition for the bandits to be able to flow between the states within them. So now what we're doing is that since we're harmonizing the whole operation, they will come under one commander. And then the commander will be able to utilize all the equipment and troops together to ensure that we address this critically. And I think that's the best solution we have for it. And I can assure you, all the assets that is required to do that will be done. The intention of the bandits is to just show that they are present. It is acts of criminality. And that's why we're appealing to Nigerians not to provide any support. If you remember the last time we had this issue where our APC was, the MRAB was bogged down, and the terrorists came. It was some people that called them and told them that the troops were having issues with their vehicle and they should come around, and they came in mass. That's what exactly happened. And that's why we're appealing to individuals. If you think these guys are on your side, they're a bunch of deranged individuals that have no allegiance to anybody. Today you think you are with them, tomorrow they are coming after you. It's just like training monsters. When you train monsters, when they grow up, they definitely will be the next victim. So we appeal to Nigerians not to allow themselves to be cowed. And like it is also said, we also appeal that for us to maintain security, the armed forces and security agencies cannot be everywhere. We will try as much as possible to be there, but we're going to build the capacity of the locals to be able to defend themselves for a while before the military will come in. That we have adopted in the Northeast with the civilian JTF, with the hybrid forces, and it has worked. We're also trying to do the same thing. We're working with the state government. We're not working in isolation. We know the relevance of the communities. We know the relevance of the state governments. So we're working as a team to ensure that we address these issues together.
It must not result. You must stamp it and stamp it out completely once and for all. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Are you ready?
On operational effectiveness, we have been focused on training our troops to be prepared for the task that they are assigned in the field. We have also inducted new platforms into our operations theater. As at date, we have inducted well over 300 B vehicles configured as gun trucks. We have repaired key combat enablers like the mine resistance and bush protected vehicles, those ones that have hitherto been unserviceable. The command engineering depot in Kaduna has been resourced to repair burnt, broken down and unserviceable vital equipment like mine resistance and bush protected vehicles, main battle tanks and the like. The sound administration mantra of my command philosophy is designed to be the wheel upon which every other team.
Attention of the research community and policymakers have generally been directed towards investigating the possible nexus between climate change and the escalating violence from armed banditry in northwest Nigeria. The armed forces of Nigerian troops sustained offensive operations to destroy and disrupt bandits across the theater. The military operations instigated rival clash among the terrorist groups, leading to the death of several terrorist commanders who have been terrorizing communities around Katsina, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. The synergy with other security and intelligence agencies assisted greatly in the optimum performance of the troops in the operations against terrorists and bandits in the Northwest Zone. At the Maritime Zone in Northwest, presently some special boat service personnel are actively deployed in the Northwest, working with the Armed Forces Special Forces Battalion, engaging in ongoing counter-insurgency operations against bandits group. They were instrumental in wiping out bandits high command through surgical operations in the northwest of the country.
Maritime security and protection of the maritime domain is one of the primary responsibilities of the Nigerian Navy. We have been doing this over the years. We are going to redouble our effort in this direction. To this extent, we are going to improve on our surveillance capability, ensuring that we have full coverage of our backwaters, which is where most of the problems come from. We are going to enhance our patrols and presence, both at sea and within the creeks. Already we are making effort to get more platforms to be able to achieve that. We're also going to increase our ability to gather intelligence so that our patrols will be target driven.
Fight against insurgency banditry is a completely different kind of warfare. It's the kind of warfare where your adversary, they are Nigerians, they are embedded within the population. It's not like the conventional warfare where you just load their airplanes with bombs and just go and drop it. Whoever is there is an adversary. Now, the adversary is embedded within the population. We don't want even one innocent Nigerian to be killed because we are fighting bandits and terrorists. So it makes the operation very complicated and very difficult, not like the normal conventional operations. Basically, from a very tactical air force, today we are a very formidable air force, arguably one of the best on the African continent, one of the biggest also. So we have come a very long way when you look at how we have transformed from being very basic to what we have now, which is really a very formidable force able to carry out the complete gamut of air operations. So give out to some capabilities that we do not have, like intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. We have had that recently. We have a lot of platforms that are capable of doing that. Also in the area of unmanned aerial vehicles, that is a recent capability we have also acquired, and it's making a lot of difference in the conduct of our operations.
What makes you a soldier is your ability to defend them when they need your assistance. And you can't do that if you are physically weak. So a civilian will assist you rather than you assisting him. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
The air components of Operation Adarin Daji recorded significant airstrikes on acquired terrorist enclaves camps in Zamfara State, where terrorist kingpins as well as their cohort are beneath. Also, the air component destroying terrorist enclaves at Tunga Daji in Zamfara State. Similarly, in Katsina State, airstrikes were conducted on acquired terrorist commanders' enclaves. Troops of Operation White Punch likewise intensified effort against terrorists and violent extremists in the conduct of operations. Significantly, offensive operations such as fighting patrols, raid ambushes, and clearance patrols were conducted to terrorist hideouts and enclaves. The terrorists were denied freedom of action with their combat capabilities diminished. These activities are as a result of our coordinated efforts to enhance national security and protect the lives and properties of our citizens. It is important to emphasize that the key successes and achievements recorded in Northwest has been the robust interagency collaboration. Northwest governors must exhibit the same fearless, courageous, and determined leadership demonstrated by Northeast governors in fight against Boko Haram. Improve intelligence gathering and sharing between security agencies, local communities, and traditional leaders to identify and track bandits. foster trust and cooperation between security forces and local communities, encouraging them to provide information and support. Address poverty and unemployment by creating economic opportunities, reducing the alloy of banditry. The federal government must address the welfare of servicemen and women, the current condition including the challenges faced by families of fallen heroes, the child commitment and sacrifice. Proper compensation and support for soldiers and their families are imperative. Enhance collaboration and coordination among military, police and other security agencies. Engage traditional leaders in conflict resolution and mediation. Invest in education, healthcare and infrastructure development in affected areas. Ensure that bandits are brought to justice and victims receive support and compensation. Collaborate with neighboring countries to share intelligence and best practices. Identify and address underlying factors driving banditry, such as ethnic and religious tensions. Provide aid and support to affected communities and displaced persons. A comprehensive approach incorporating these strategies can help combat banditry more effectively than relying solely on military force. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Ladoja, has been leading the fight against banditry in the northwest region of Nigeria. General Ladoja led successful military operations in northwest, which resulted in defeat of terrorists in several locations. General Ladoja's leadership led to the refinement of combat strategies, which enabled the military to take the offensive to terrorists rather than just mounting roadblocks and checkpoints. This achievement demonstrated by the military, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwambi Musa, and also the Nigerian Army, led by the Lieutenant General Tarid Ladoja, and also the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ikechukwu Ogala, and also by the Nigerian Air Force, led by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar. Commitment to combating banditry and terrorism in the northwest region of Nigeria. Olaimi Eson.